Hey, so I've got something interesting today. It's a soap from Australia by Whispers from the Woods, and the soap is called Pomelo. If you don't know, pomelo is a big, huge, like bigger than a grapefruit, citrus fruit. And like the wedges are absolutely huge, but the skin is really thick, you know, so it's got a ton of pith in it. But anyway, so I've scooped a bunch of this out. I really like this scent. It doesn't smell like pomelo to me, but what what it does smell like, exact to me. So I scooped a bunch out and I put it into this little tin, right? That way I can load from here. What it does smell like to me is exactly like an orange creamsicle, or maybe an orange Julius, if you know that, which I love those things. So this is another soap I kind of want to eat. But I haven't shown making a lather in a while, so I'm going to try to do that and not take forever doing it. So I'm just going to load from the this container here. This is my Omega boar brush, and it was soaking in warm water for a while. I'm going to try not to overload it. I'm not going to try not to over or underload it. Do a little bit more. I'm sure this is going to go. I'd rather overload than underload. Let's put it that way. All right, so this system is not perfect, but at least I preserve the stuff in the tub, so it stays pretty perfect. All right, so this bowl is warm. And when I need water, I'm just going to dip it in my ceramic bowl full of hot water. Oh yeah, the room is actually filling up with the scent of orange Julius. I feel like I'm standing in the mall waiting at the counter, having just ordered a bunch of these drinks. Yeah, I like this a lot. I do have the last of my Proraso pre-shave on. I think I have gotten practically all I'm going to get from this jar. And since it's the white one, it's the white pre-shave for sensitive skin, it's got a light citrusy smell. So it goes with this fairly well. Now, I don't have any citrusy, aftershave balms or anything, so I'm going to go with cedar and hope that works. Bit more water. So for me, I've tried a bunch of different things to control how much water I put in. And the absolute worst one for me was dripping directly from the faucet, because I over-watered a bunch of soaps that way, just not being careful. And then I tried using a little dropper. That just took too much time for me, and there's too much attention required, and I don't think I can really do that. Dripping water from my hands, tried that. But for me, I think what I found that I like best is basically just dipping the tips of the brush lightly into some water and bringing it back. So this is starting to look pretty good to me. It looks like it's starting to shine a bit. It smells great. And because I think it looks ready to me, I'm going to go and do one more dip, because typically I have underwatered soaps. So that was, I think, my last dip. So let's see how this goes. I'm trying to get past this prejudice I had against, well, the apparent need I had for my lather to look like like cream rather than, you know, rather than a whipped kind of foam. So it hangs from the brush nicely. It makes peaks, but they don't look super stiff. So I'm going to call that done. I'm just going to re-wet my face because the pre-shave has dried a bit. I do love the scent of that Proraso pre-shave, the white one. Okay. I'll lather up and then I'll show you the razors. Let's go. Oh yeah, feels good. Feels good and smells, unfortunately, it smells delicious. Oh, for anybody that's watching from Canada, I discovered that importing shaving stuff from Australia, while the shipping does cost a bit, there were no, at least for me, no customs fees, customs brokerage fees. And to be honest, it's not the customs and, you know, taxes that bother me, it's the dang brokerage fees. The shipping companies, that's such a racket. It's like, oh yes, it cost me $20 to determine that this was a shave soap. And look up in the database that the duties are essentially almost nothing. Oh, it only costs $20 to start with? Well, you know, we have to control everything brought into the country. You know, it's just for your safety. Yes, I'm being a bit snarky. Okay, so I'm going to use my blades today. Are going to be, if I can pick these up without slicing myself, BIC Chrome Platinum. These are both fresh blades. This is the head for my Henson AL13, and this is the head for my beautiful brass Overlander. And oh, I discovered something today. By accident, of course. Overlander plate, Henson top cap. My, it fits perfectly. I mean perfectly. Does not work the other way around. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. But now I'm just going to get and assemble these razors properly. And this really can't be a proper comparison, I don't think, between these two razors because, you know, they're very, very different, right? Although I do have trouble deciding whether the Overlander is mild or medium because it just feels, I mean, it feels mild on the face, but I think it's probably too efficient for that, just to call it mild. So let me just, because that took some time, it might have dried out a bit. All right, let's get to shaving. So I'm going to start out with the Henson on my right side, just because I picked it up first. I'm going to do this as a 2-pass shave only. And I'm only going to use the Henson on the first pass. Because, I mean, if there are differences, I don't need to have like a uneven face. It's already not symmetrical, right? I don't need to accentuate that. This blade feels good in the Henson. But of course it would. The Henson seems to take any blade you put in it and make it feel nice and smooth. Okay, so. All right, there's still stuff left behind. This is 2 days of growth, by the way. So there's stuff left behind, but I expect that with the Henson. Let's see how the Overlander does on the other side. So the Henson is a mild rate. That's the Henson mild. And this is just the Overlander. And it feels to me to be as mild as the Henson, really. I mean, you do kind of have to figure out the angle a little bit more yourself, but it's not difficult. Because this actually, from what I have never used a Christopher Bradley from Karve Shaving Company, but I've heard that the shaving angle on those razors is a little different. This uses a more standard shaving angle. So if you use most other razors, you'll be comfortable with the angle this requires. Yeah, nice, very nice. Now, let's check. You know, it's really hard to tell. That was with the grain. You know what? I'm gonna have to do the second pass with the 2 different razors to really tell. I mean, I feel like the Henson is a little behind the Overlander. Here, but slightly. But I'm not sure you can tell just from the with the grain pass. All right, let's go. So this soap does seem to have pretty good residual slickness, and you know, I mean, it's slick. It's definitely slick enough when you first load it on. My washroom smells like an Orange Julius shop now. So I am going to talk a little bit about my philosophical / self-discovery ramblings during this video. But I won't spend too much time on it, and I'll save most of it for the end. Well, actually, you know what? I won't say too much other than my video a couple days ago with the epiphany that I had from that weird dream with the baby that needed to have a shave. What I've discovered since then, and it's been 2 days, is that it's all fine to have an epiphany and to really think about things, but at some point you got to stop. You got to stop thinking, or not stop thinking, but move from thinking to doing if you're going to have any kind of practical effect on your life. And this should be obvious to me, but I'm one of those people that has always I've always fallen into the trap. Sorry, I did not mean to offend anyone by going to a Southern accent there, but I am one of those people that always fallen into the trap of letting excessive thinking substitute for doing. It just seems to be a basic aspect of my personality. Those BIC Chrome Platinum, the BIC Chrome Platinum blade seems to be very sharp. And in both razors, it felt very smooth. It's my first time, well, maybe not my absolute first time, but my first time as someone that's actually competent using these razors. I should say these blades. Okay, so second pass Henson, done. Second pass Overlander, let's go. It is a bit weird going from that very light Henson to this heavy Overlander. Brush bristle, but not too bad. This is really smooth though. They're both really smooth. This right here, feels even better to me with the Overlander than the Henson. Not quite sure why. Yeah, still very slick here. Keep in mind I was using the Proraso preshave too though. But I am liking the way this soap is performing. If you didn't know, one of the reasons I wanted to try some Australian soaps is because I watch Uncle Laurie's channel. I don't know if you know him. I'll link it in the description. But he's in Australia, and he does, every Wednesday, he does an Aussie soap. And some of these sounded really interesting to me, so I decided to try. I bought 3 that were on sale. They just arrived a couple days ago, and I'm liking this one a lot. Is it all that different from a North American soap? I could believe this came from the US or Canada, you know. I'm not sure it's totally unique. It's a good soap. I don't know, maybe Uncle Laurie in the comments will say something about how he finds the artisan soaps from Australia versus, you know, the US or Canada or wherever, you know. Do they seem unique, or are they just all basically in the same vein? I mean, it seems like a good soap. I like it. Feels good. All right. Yeah, okay, so the Overlander side is smoother. But it took me 2 passes to figure that out. So now I'm going to do a final pass just with the Overlander, so hopefully everything kind of evens out. I probably could have made a little bit more lather. But no, you know what? The amount I made was perfect for this shave. I don't know that I'll be able to do my usual kind of lather check at the end, but that's fine. I mean, you could see the quality of the lather from the beginning. All right, so this is all Overlander pass. Okay. Nice sharp blade, and it's smooth in this razor. Feels very smooth in this razor. Nice. I'm not really going for a BBS, but I think it's going to end up that way. I mean, it's already... Either side is acceptable to me. They just weren't exactly the same. And that bothers that part of my brain that wants things to be symmetrical. Like I could feel tiny differences. The Overlander side was slightly better to me, even though it's my left side, my backhand shaving side. Okay, so. I guess I'll be going to the office with the BBS today because it this feels, already I can tell this is super smooth. Okay. Oh yeah, that is perfect. That is pretty much perfect everywhere. Now that in particular is one thing where I think the Overlander has a definite, undeniable edge over the Henson, which is when you want to line something up, it's a little more pointy and you can put it right there and then do that, right? It's a little less precise with the Henson just because it's, I don't know, at least it feels that way to me. All right, so philosophical rambling, just a little bit. So, like I said, it's one thing to realize something or have a big epiphany or like really think about something a lot and kind of decide in theory what needs to be done. But that generally doesn't solve anything. You've actually got to do something, and you've got to act on those plans or that idea. Devise a plan. And it doesn't have to be a complex plan. It can be a simple plan, just a list even, right? you know, you don't need a hyper complex like network of tasks and resources, and you don't need to figure out what the critical chain or critical path is, right? Well, unless you do need to do that. But the thing is, the high-level plan can be simple. And as long as you have that high-level plan, you're ahead. So I've been thinking about what my high-level plan is going to be, because now I recognize there's at least 3 issues here for me. I think this last bit that was stuck in the brush is not the best example of what that lather was like. So in fact, I think, you know what, I may have over watered that lather a bit. And I was starting to feel that definitely on the 3rd pass where it looked really thin. I think I could have watered it a little bit less. Anyway, yeah, but thoughts and plans are great, and you've got to have them. But that's not the stopping point. Right? I just imagined in the Fellowship, that scene in Lord of the Rings where the Council of Elrond is held, and they're all standing there, and Frodo says, "I will take the ring, but I do not know where to go." And then he all's like, "Yes." And then Elrond says, you are the Fellowship of the Ring." And then everybody says, "Okay, great, see ya." And they all go home, right? That does nothing. Sauron takes over. You know, more than the Shire gets scoured, right? So I had to throw in a fantasy reference because I'm always referencing Star Wars or science fiction-y stuff. So anyway, yes. So if at that point the Fellowship had just been like, we're done, cool. We thought we kind of made the basic plan. Good enough. Let's go home. Middle Earth is screwed. World ends. 1,000 years of pain. So I don't want to experience 1,000 years of pain. So I am not going to I'm not just going to be satisfied with a plan. I've got to do something. But that takes work. So anyway, rinse the alum, post shave. So there's really not much of a citrusy scent left. I didn't expect there would be. Usually I can't pick up much for most soaps after I've done the final rinse. Now this witch hazel and aloe from Stirling, when I bought it, God, probably 4 or 5 months ago, and it's still going. I still probably have a third of the big bottle, I probably still have a third of it left. And there's half of this left, so I might be going, God, I might go a year without using up that whole thing. I don't know. It'll be like 9, 10 months probably. But anyway, so that aloe's on. I am feeling more citrusy today. I mean, it's not citrusy, cedary. So I will use this balm. So, but anyway, that witch hazel and aloe from Stirling, I bought the one that had vetiver in it. And they used a very smoky vetiver, which I like. But it doesn't necessarily, oh, I put too much of this on. All right, I'm gonna have to let this soak in. But anyway, oh, my face is super smooth. Yeah, that was a dang good shave, guys and gals and other. YouTube tells me over 90% of you are guys, but that means there's still some girls out there. Or, well, YouTube says female. I don't know if it's all female. All right, I'm not going to get into a whole gender debate. Like, what is gender? What is sex? What is gender? What is choice? No, I'm not going there. But anyway, what the heck was I saying? Yeah, I don't know. Smokiness and cedariness work well together, so it reminds me of campfires. But thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more of it, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd appreciate that. And I will end with the 5 rules of shaving as given to us by the Lords of Shaving. They are 1 blade, no pressure, quality lather, deft hand, and be smart. This is the way. Thank you. Bye. Turn off.